that little bit of a problem in the recording process. Please forgive me. I'm in the process of fixing this internet. The internet, don't even get me started on my internet. My internet's bad here at the house. And I've been living at the hospital, green wristband. Hey Keith, how's it going? Um, I'm probably not going to say anything in this video that I would not. Hey, Hermit's Cave. I'm probably not going to say anything in this video that, hey everybody. Mwah. I'm probably not going to say anything that I would be embarrassed to share. Anybody, like this chat might be public. So I'm not going to say anything that is kind of too revealing. But I just want you all to know that if you guys get that crazy wheel of death going on, like the internet's kind of glitchy kind of stuff, I'm getting my internet fixed. My internet is really, really bad right now at the house. I realized on Wednesday last week or Thursday, Wednesday, one of those days last week that my internet that I had going on for the house cut out. That the internet that I did have cut out on me, and probably 2 weeks ago now that I realized that my internet cut out on me here at the house, and I'm still in the process of getting it fixed. I haven't got it fixed yet. Um, I still haven't got my internet fixed at all. No internet still. I'm recording from the phone, and that's another horse. First live of yours I caught. That's all I gotta say to everybody. That I'm gonna try to keep this public, like I said. My internet's bad. So what has been going on? My little June bug, my little baby, Judith, the 2-year-old, she has gastro problems. She's always had gastro problems. She has gastro problems ever since she was born. And her gastro problems kind of escalated to a point where she was throwing up, her belly's distended, she's not really eating or taking in anything really good by mouth or anything like that. So we took her into the hospital. We, as in me and my mom, took her into the hospital, and they've kind of held her hostage for almost 2 weeks. So she's I've been like a no-show for 2 weeks. I'm like, ah. And I saw Kelly had her live chat yesterday, and I'm like, I can't join you, Kelly. I want to join Kelly from Chill the Story, but I can't, even for the 12 hours that I was that she had her 12-hour chat. I'm like, I can't, Kelly. I wanted to, but I can't. So I've always made the first 2 years. This third year, unfortunately, I missed out on the Kelly's live chat. It would probably be my only first year to skip out on it. I'm probably going to join it next year. But, so yeah, Judith has just been held hostage at the hospital because they want to send her home where she is semi-okay to function like a normal baby. And so they're basically holding her until they figure out a yes, priorities for sure. So they're kind of holding her until they get this diet thing all sorted out. And I don't think this new diet for her, the keto diet, if anybody's very familiar with diet plans and stuff, a keto diet is really basically just proteins. She's eating eggs, she's eating meats, mostly just a high protein diet. It's a high protein diet. And they're trying her on that, and I really don't think it's helping her at all, but that's... Well, Judith, Miss Jezebel, is always kind of had this chronic issue where she's always it's either one of three things. It's either a mitochondrial issue, which is a cellular issue of the... Yes. It's a mitochondrial issue, which is either cellular or muscle issue, which has to do with the muscles of her intestines squeezing food down, or it's neuro issue where her brain and the intestines are not pushing along food like they're supposed to. That's, in summary, that's what my daughter has. One of those three issues. And if it's mitochondrial issue or cellular issue, they can fix it with supplements a little bit. Not really fix it, but they could help it with supplements a little bit. But she's always going to have this gastro problem for the rest of her life. It's just inevitable. She has, yeah, it might be EDS. I have to check that out, Jezebel, actually. But she just has this problem with the peristalsis in her guts. Do you have a... Okay, put that person in timeout. I am not double jointed there, so. Sorry about that, everyone. So it's a peristalsis issue that has been going on with her. So we're trying to get her diet figured out and stuff. I honestly think she needs to go back to the TPN because that's really the only thing that has worked for her in the past when she was on those. Yes. Oh, I didn't. Oh. Okay. Double joints can be a symptom of EDS. Did I time out somebody that I shouldn't have timed out? Oops. I didn't realize that. Loo break. Yeah. I didn't know if it was somebody I knew or not, but it didn't sound like it. Anybody from our community. Hi, everybody. But so that's kind of what's going on in summary. And as far as Judith goes, hi Patrick and hi everybody. And as far as the other issues go, I'm living in a ball of crazy land, it seems like. And I'm not going to talk about it. Hi Althena. It's been crazy, Althena. I'm not going to go into in depth because I'm going to make this a public chat, but all you guys really need to know that I have a court date on Tuesday. Yes, it would be this Tuesday. And hopefully it will resolve a lot of my ongoing problems, private problems. And that's the other thing that I got coming up. And then I have Judith in the hospital all at the same time. So I have a lot of life priorities and life things getting in my way. But like I said, I'm not going to get into deeply, but I do hope that there's a court date on Tuesday that will help some of my life problems, and that, fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. And there's been no support system at all from all that, if you all know what I'm referring to. There has been no support whatsoever. So I've been doing I've quit literally slept at a hospital for almost 2 weeks, so I have not slept in my own bed for almost 2 weeks. So, yeah, it's a lot of crap. It's a lot of good things going in the right direction, hopefully. So, the tarot decks that I've been really working on, I've actually been very, very hard on the Lenormand. It's been like I've been working so hard on my Lenormand stuff. I've been so glad that I've been working on my Lenormand stuff. Yay. My Lenormand videos are sippies. Sippies, by the way. I shouldn't have done that, but it's okay. But I haven't really got any new tarot decks, but the one tarot deck that Keith made me get, and Keith knows what I'm going to be talking about, and it finally came in last week, is the Romance Angels by Doreen Virtue. I know you can all say, what? Somebody made you buy a Dorian Virtue deck? But honestly, Amber made me buy it. Amber Wonderland from Amber. Yeah, from Amber. She made me buy it because she was doing like one of those pick a card readings, and she had this deck as one of them. And then Keith made me buy it because he was reading this deck with me, and it's the Romance Angels Oracle card by Dorian Virtue. Hey, I can't stay long. Tiger's Abyss. I know there's controversy with Dorian Virtue, and I'm not talking about the controversy about the deck. I'm just gonna say the deck itself. The deck itself, it looks like the art in this deck. Yes, I did, Keith. I got them. The art, what I do like about this deck, I'm going to say this straight up. I like the gilded edges. The bats, I'm not so crazy about, but I like the edges. If I actually, yay, deck twins. So Keith made me buy this one. But actually, I'm thinking of doing pull in a Veronica Jude. And I'm going to back this deck if one of these days. I don't know when I will actually back this deck. But one of these days, I am planning to back this deck. And I am a spiritual single. I guess that's what you could call it. I'm a spiritual single. And I'm an enabler. Yes, I'm not going to slag off the door again. Yeah. Keith makes you buy Dorian Virtue deck, Simon. I kid you not. That I hang out with Keith quite often on Facebook Messenger just to let everybody know. And he is a big fan of the DV, as we call it, the DV. He's a big DV fan. And the readings he gets from Dorian Virtue, and I'm going to brag about Keith a little bit, the readings he gets from Dorian Virtue decks is phenomenal. I'm just going to throw it out there to everybody. Might help Keith along a little bit in his business, but the readings that I get from his Dorian Virtue decks actually have been phenomenal, from what I've been getting readings from Keith with. So he convinced me to go ahead and get this deck, as well as Amber Wonderland with her pick-a-cards. And what sold me about this deck is I liked the variety of, in this deck a little bit, as far as for spiritual singles. It has something for a little bit of everybody. It has something for everybody. It has something for spiritual singles like myself, meaning that you are not divorced, but you're kind of single at the same time. Spiritual single. There you go. It's good for spiritual singles. It's good for those who are struggling in the relationships with somebody. And I think this deck actually is very diverse enough that it helps people who are in the It's the Romance Angels, Bozed. I think that Bozed. Yeah, that's what I think your name is. It's the Romance Angels, by Dorian Virtue. You're a spiritual test. I feel like that most days, Simon, too. But I do feel like, I'm doing good. I scorp 44. 444 square. But I do find that this deck, and this is where I'm getting to. So I think it's good for a little bit of everybody, but the reason why I really was sold on it more than anything else, I felt like that the live readings that I have done for everybody in the past, and you all know what I'm talking about. I've been doing some, free live readings. I'm spiritual, not interested. That's okay. That's okay. So as far as live readings go, I have done some live readings on my channel too. I've been living the alchemical. Okay. I'm also catching up everybody in chat. I miss everybody so badly. So I'm like, oh, I miss everybody. But for the live readings that I've been doing on this channel, I felt like this would be like that perfect for the relationship readings. Reading summary. So you got like flirt, extend your light heart energy to others. Let your friends help you. And then you got a little Dorian quote on the bottom. Ask for and accept support from others. And the art in this is kind of more, I would say, there's a little bit of, like, this art is kind of like the computer generated art. But I think for the most part, the art is very much like that, old-timey. I think it's a collage art. I think it's still collaged. I'm not sure. It's like a digital collage of old art. I don't mind the art, and then I like the keywords that she does have on it. Even if you don't read it with the guidebook. But I've actually been surprised how nice I like the guidebook to this deck too. I like the art, but it's like a digital collage, I think. Let me see what the art is. Let me see. They might have the art in here. I know it's by Dorian Virtue. Okay, all artwork copyright by the artist, but they don't really say who the art is by. You know, that's kind of sad. Okay. Lisa Iris artwork. It's the person is Lisa Iris. Yep, Lisa Iris. That was the artist for this deck. But I actually do find that, and it's like in that little tiny microscopic print in the book that doesn't really give really great support of the artist. But it's actually been helping me out, and here I am going, give me something juicy, Dorian Virtue, give me something juicy, as far as give me something to look forward to. And here I get repeat cards like wait for it, and they're coming, and they're right around the corner. So here I did go and buy this deck and thinking all I get is I could get some answers for myself with this deck, and then they're like, it's coming, love is coming around the corner, and yeah. Oh, I'm still alive. Did I miss all of you? Yeah. And so, it's actually kind of funny. It's actually hilarious. I'm sorry if I lost you guys for 5 seconds. I had a phone call come in. I'll have to answer that here in a little bit. I wasn't going to be long on this chat anyways. But I got a DV deck. This is my first deck that I bought in for like ever. I am still on a deck band. I hope you guys still see me. Let me go ahead and pull a card for me. Or everybody. Okay, okay, it didn't go away. Let me pull a card from this deck for everybody. Alright, not just for me. I won't be selfish. I made her break a deck ban. Yes, you did, Keith. I wanted this deck. But I'll pull a card from this deck for all of everybody, meaning this. Uh, I'm going to pull a card. For everybody from the DV deck. I won't be selfish and pull for me, even though I want to. Everybody, energies. Everybody, energies. Not for me. Everybody. All right. I've actually got it to the point where this deck shuffles very nicely for me now. I had to work with the cardstock a little bit because some of these glossy cardstocks are like stiff and they don't shuffle well. Now I kind of got it to work, so I think I get a good shuffle in. All right. I am so selfish, everybody. I just want everybody to know that being in a hospital for 2 weeks makes you very selfish. Hi, everybody. I'm going to... It'll be for me, too. I know. Oh, it will be for me, too. All right. I'll call him back. Okay. What am I feeling? Oh! Wedding! This situation involves marriage! Oh. I'm sorry, I'm so tickled by everybody. Break your calendar. Okay, so I got wedding for everybody. Can I have a card, please? Yes, you can have a card. All right. Wedding. Hey, everybody. So I'm going to read from the DV book. See what DV says. All right. It says, you drew this card because of an upcoming wedding. Your own or somebody else's. It comes to you because marriage plays a role in the answers to your question. Okay, I think I know where it pertains in my life, but I'll get to that here in a second. For some people, this card could be a validation that you will get married and ask you to keep the faith and continue enjoying your life without worry about the future. Marital status for others. This card signals that you'll meet a significant other at an upcoming wedding or experience something there that will lead to no romance for you. It can also represent your parents' marriage and the way it affects your feelings and beliefs about relationships. Throw the card across the room, me. This is where I throw the card across the room. Honey badgers, the northern one, is that somebody that I should block? I don't know what a honey badger is, so I think I'll continue reading. In a few cases, this card asks you to look at your present and past marriages and review your feelings with the intention of healing your heart and your relationship. Perhaps it is time to enlist a marital counselor to help you with sort out how you feel. And sometimes this card can signal the end of a marriage, in which case the angels support everyone involved. You can come in understanding the experience and renew your heart and willingness and love. No, Lord Virtue, you must be. It is a bittersweet card. But it's all good. It's all good. Intuitively, what I got from this card, Dorn Virtue book aside, chuck it across the room. Me chuck it across the room. Dorn Virtue aside, if you really look at the card, she kind of looks at him, kind of with that little smile, and he's kind of like kind of face. So for me, it kind of symbolizes that either being a marriage or not marriage, or you meeting somebody new, but it's all kind of revolves around the marriage itself. It's not really necessarily the wedding, it's the marriage itself. For me, it's the death of a marriage, but for somebody else, one of you guys, it might be a new relationship or a new rekindling of a relationship that needs to happen. Yeah. So, for me, it would mean that I'm going through a divorce right now, so it involves with viewing my paradigms. What is the best for me? What is the best in my life? But for somebody else, one of you, it might be that you might be meeting somebody and it will be like the one, for an example. And for someone like me, it would mean like it's an end of an old phase, beginning of a new phase, and reevaluate your yeah, and so end of an old phase, beginning with a new phase, and then that new phase might evolve into somebody more serious, marriage, wedding. Also, if you're in a relationship and you're very happy with your husband and your wife, maybe give them a foot massage and give them, that voodoo love. Say you love them today. I think that's also very important because I have to admit, um, I have to admit that I've seen some things going on in the hospital with Judith, and I've seen another couple. They're divorced, by the way, but they had a son that was going through heart surgery. And I'll tell you the story, but I posted this on Facebook for those people who've already heard this. They're already divorced, and the father of the kid and the mom of the kid were both sharing the same couch, divorced, mind you. And the father of the kid was passed out holding the mother's feet in like a very kind of almost romantic kind of way, or in a comforting way, like he was massaging her feet while she was holding the baby, all on the same couch. And they're divorced. And this kind of made me scratch my head, like, how the F is this even happening? Are they reconciling, or is this what a real person should be doing? Like, if I was having a suffering child, or which I do, and am having a child that is going through all these medical problems, why am I seeing somebody across the room from me, quite literally, across the room from me, looking at each other almost in a love and light, and they're shoulder to shoulder in support for each other and for their child, and they're not calling each other's names, they're not clipboarding you, they're not doing rotten things to each other. They're genuinely were supporting each other through this time, even though they are quite literally finished divorcing. I talked to them, and they have already been through the divorce process, and it was very beautiful. It was actually very beautiful for me to know that even if the relationship didn't work out, they were still there for each other, and that was important for me to see. Because here, said I was not going to say anything, but I was going to say it. Here I am at the hospitals, camping at the hospital for almost 2 weeks, and there is no other unit in my with yeah, that's how grown-ups handle divorce for sure, Jezebel. Here I am sleeping and camping out at the hospital for 2 weeks, and I'm doing it all by myself again. My mom is taking care of Morgan, and so Morgan is my other daughter. My mom is taking care of Morgan and letting me camp at the hospital with Judith, all by myself. And there is no other unit, parental unit or co-parenting unit with what's going on in my life. And if he is there, he shows up only an hour a day to run up and down the hall with more Judith for maybe less than an hour a day. And then he clipboards me while he's there, and then he goes away. And he never sleeps with Judith. He never does anything with Judith, and he doesn't want anything to do with Judith. He was more interested in having her up and down the halls for an hour just to visit her and say hi. And then he clipboards me and makes me cry and all this other stuff, and then he goes away. So I guess my point that I'm trying to make is that this whole entire my paradigms about marriage, my paradigms about relationships, and my paradigms of what a real relationship should look like is all being reformatted and rechanged in this experience. So it's in the end a very positive experience, even though it doesn't feel like it right now. And that's partly why I was saying that I'm hoping that Tuesday will solve a lot of my problems right now. Not really solve problems, but it will be one of those things that it will help me with a lot of what I'm going through right now. And so that's an example of for my life, what this card pertains to me. But for you all, it could be like, just say your loved ones, I love you, and I'm there to emotionally support you even though you're having a bad day. And yes, from the examples I had, that I had a child. Yes. So if you have a marriage or a relationship, I'm just going to say relationship because marriage, weddings, marriage is kind of ambiguous nowadays. You could be married to somebody in spirit, but not really in the physical sense of marriage. So when you're in a relationship with somebody, for those who are in a relationship, I'm encouraging you because of the examples I've seen in my life and stuff that you should be the caregiver to your significant other. There is love and there's always something positive to be said to your significant other. Can I offer some supportive magic for Tuesday? Yes. You could do that, Miss Jezebel. That's perfectly fine. I take all love and light. All forms of love and light. And I'm sorry, everybody. I'm going to reread everybody's chat later, but I'm going to turn on some light in here. And that's very, very good. And if they are a husband that works around the house, this is something I'm going to encourage you to do as well, because I never had this in my marriage with my ex, is that if you have a husband that works around the house and hangs up pictures on the wall or does the little things, acknowledge them and say, thank you for doing that. It makes me feel better about the house that we live in and the loving home. And this is more than I could ever expect and hope for from somebody. Even though it's something as stupid as washing the dishes. Even though it's something as stupid as cooking dinner for somebody tonight. Even if it is something as stupid as doing a project around the house. Giving somebody that acknowledgement is definitely one of those things that I say, never take it for granted. Like Christy said, never take your relationship for granted. Okay. I hope everything is well, Simon. I will keep this live for. I think that I will keep this video up for once. But yeah, you just don't take your relationships for granted. And that's something that I'm going to encourage all of you to do too. Just don't take your relationships for granted either, because, okay, we still love you, Simon. But yeah, just don't take your relationships for granted, because once you start taking your relationships for granted and not we might be together. That is perfect, Tammy. It's something, and true love doesn't have to ask, Tammy. That's something that I'm gonna tell somebody else too. And when you're trying to find your one, and you're trying to find, and this is something advice for me too, is that when you're trying to find your one, and you're trying to find somebody, true love never has to ask for shit. And I'm sorry for about my language, but true love never asks for shit in return. True love will massage your feet because they want to, not because it's a chore. And true love will actually cook your dinner or do your laundry. I've never done laundry in 15 years. That kind of stuff, silly stuff. True love will do it, and because they want to, and they love you, not because they have to. And that's something I'm suffering with right now with my ex, is that he never wanted to do anything for me or for the girls. Instead, he makes my life feel like a living hell. I'm just gonna say that straight up. He makes my life feel like a living hell right now. Just only showing up when he wants to for an hour at a time. And then he clipboards me when he does show up for Judith. And that, to me, is not right. You should not feel like you have to clipboard somebody because you're angry and bitter and you want to impede on somebody else's happiness. That's not love. And that is just an angry, bitter person that cannot see the hurt in themselves. Okay, and then for your spiritual singles out there, or those who are single out there, wedding could possibly meaning that you'll find a relationship that, with all the advices that I've just given you, you will find yeah, I know, right, Tammy? I am really sorry for myself too, in some ways. But but yeah, and now let me talk about the ones that are spiritually single, or the spiritual singles, or the ones that are claim themselves as single in some shape or form. That's one that I'm gonna go for next. Is the ones that are single in some shape or form. I think the next relationship, if you take my advices to heart, and I will have much more on the way, believe it or not. I will do some spiritual talks and stuff too. I'm feeling some spiritual rants coming on eventually. And I think for those who are single out there, or have a and so that's true. But for those who are single out there, you take my advices to heart, and take all my advices from heart to heart about relationships and what a real relationship should do in a situation. And you never have to say thank you once. True love will always do it. And if you feel like you're overburdened, this is what happened to me, because because you could always take the relationship advice this way too. What happened to me is I never got a thank you for mowing the lawn, for taking care of the girls, especially in one girl that was really sick. Okay, best wishes, everybody. So, and one daughter that has been really sick, and all the whole 9 yards and stuff. I've never got thank you once. If anything, I got, I'm not happy where I am, and I am not happy where everything is in my life from him. And it was sad. After a while, it really started to become sad because he was never happy where he was, and he never was happy within. He was always upset. And so when I took care of the whole house, the bills, everything, I took care of everything for him. And I never got thank you for it. And if anything, I got griped at that I never cooked at all. And it's like, one, I hate to cook, and two, you're expecting me to cook when I have the rest of the world to take care of on my shoulder. So, he never said thank you. So it could go both ways. He never said thank you. And I know I kind of said an oxymoron that true love never says thank you, but it's also true in the sense that true love also has to be, there has to not be overburdened too. There has to be a reciprocating of love, an overburden. One can't be overburdened in a relationship versus the other, and find a balanced relationship. And true love doesn't have to compromise one's happiness, and true love also does not make one person do everything while the other one gets to sit around and do nothing, which happened a lot with me. And so there's two sides to every story. I understand that. And as tarot readers, and this is something I'm going to voice out too, we do a lot of readings with a lot of people. I'm just going to throw this out there too. As advice for tarot readers, we do a lot of tarot readings for other people. And sometimes these other people that are not spiritualists, but they're getting their tarot readings and they don't work on themselves and they're getting their tarot readings, they are looking for validation to stay in a bad relationship sometimes. Or why is he going off running away with Johnny when I want him? He's my guy, kind of thing. And I definitely know this is a hardship for tarot readers, because sometimes we're like Dr. Phil. You need to get real. Do you see the reflection? Do you can I record what you're saying and play it back to you? How unstable it sounds. I know tarot reading is terrible that way, because sometimes in a tarot reading it sounds like we are enabling someone to stay in a bad relationship when it's not true. We're not. I don't believe as tarot readers we're trying to enable somebody to stay in the bad relationship. However, I've done tarot readings where I felt like people like to choose to stay in bad relationships. People like to choose to go back to somebody who's no good, and that is something we got to be aware of too. That sometimes we can read the cards and tell them what they need to hear, but unless they fix it with themselves, they're never going to be happy. And that's something that we're also going to remember too, that until they can fix it within, they will never be happy and figure out, oh yeah, this is what I'm doing wrong. Yeah, he's a worthless, I don't need him. Until somebody can realize that with themselves, we're always going to get the, is my ex going to come back to me kind of readings. And trust me, I can attest for this that I've done many readings with that, like that. That it's like, yeah, no, your ex is not coming back. I could say this from life without cards, that, yeah, no, your ex is not coming back. And I have done that a few times, and it's hard for me to give the bad news. But I've been very, very fortunate when I have been doing my live chats and my live readings that I have not done that too many readings where people, or I feel like we're going back into brought in relationships or going back into bad relationships. I felt like I was giving pretty sound advice, and they were not going to self-sabotage themselves that way. So I like to think myself that I haven't given bad advice, but I can rewatch my videos and probably do that. You know, my readings video, my free readings video. And so I'm going to shuffle these cards just so that I can have it well mixed by the time I shuffle it again for myself. So, yeah. I'd say that we all have to fix our paradigms about marriages and relationships. And I think that was the biggest message that I feel like I had to give from the Romance Angels card from Doreen Virtue is that I think that the wedding card for me today mostly said we could change our paradigms. What is really important. I feel like for those who are in a relationship, tell your significant other that you really love them. It sounds stupid and sounds so basic, but hey. It's sometimes really good to give some boost for the libido. Because sometimes you need a leg up, so to speak. Yeah, you need to get pushed in the right direction. But for those who are single, I don't recommend you doing that to just anybody. Find somebody that is really great first. And for somebody like me, heal yourself. And then be single, and then just don't do it to anybody first. So yeah, that's what I got for you today as far as Doreen Virtue cards. Other than that, I've been really doing a lot of Lenormand readings for myself and for others. And I am so excited to do some Lenormand videos. I'm actually really been planning this, everybody, and I've been going, oh, I'm ready to come back home so I can do some videos and stuff. Is that I want to do some like the hang down videos, like camera down videos, and do some Lenormand teaching for all y'alls, because I feel like that I have a voice to say about Lenormand, because believe it or not, I am a very I find myself, I think I'm a very proficient Lenormand reader now. I've been reading Lenormand for about as long as I've been hardcore working with tarot, so Lenormand is like definitely like one of my go-to systems right now, because I find that it's very helpful for me, because tarot is sometimes about the physical world and the spiritual world, whereas the Lenormand's more like that physical world. And I find that Kipper and Sibylla's also kind of like Lenormand, where it kind of deals more with that physical world. And then I find that the Thoth system with the open-ended, the key spread, I find that it is kind of also like tarot, where it could talk about spiritual and physical at the same time. But the Thoth, I think, for the open and key spread, it kind of gets in the messiness of the relationships of it all, so to speak. So, unfortunately, I'm going to have to boot off here. I have not read Sibylla yet. I am not a Sibylla reader. I have not used Sibylla. I don't have a Sibylla deck. It's actually kind of funny. I've actually been very called to probably pull down my Deste again. Kelly made me do it about a year or two ago. She made me buy Deste cards. And I'm kind of feeling like called again that I should try Deste again. And Deste is kind of like if Lenormand and tarot had a baby together, that made Deste. So I have been feeling called to play with my Deste cards again, but that deck is begging to be rebacked and something else too. I might have to get some contact paper for some of these decks that I have laying around here, and reback some of those cards, because I would love to reback the Deste cards that I have, and I would love to reback the Doreen Virtue Romance Angels cards. That would be like, yes. I love that deck. Don't I just don't find that pinky back my favorite. Although I think I could suffer with the pinky backs if I really had to. But I kind of like a flat back sometimes. But yeah, Destiny kind of is reversible, so I might have to reback that deck. And I might have to reback my Lenormand deck that my self-made Lenormand deck, because I've been reading with that thing and it looks so worn now. It looks so used, so worn. I guess it's good. I'm using it, so I don't think I need to reback it. Okay. But I love you all. I'm gonna have to get going because I did have people call me and I got things to do, people to see. Things to do, people to call, things to see. So I shall not be a stranger danger. I love you all. And you all be good to yourself and be good to others. Bye!